I always get caught doing something when I'm about to kill my camera. Hello, guys. How are you? This is kind of like a not my normal hour to do a show, but I will always take the opportunity to be able to talk to somebody across the aisle for understanding, especially now. With the information that we've been getting today about BLM. I know everybody's heard about it. It's hot. It's all over. The co-founder of BLM spent $1.4 million on a home in an all-white neighborhood. In an all-white neighborhood. I'm not joking you. Where is the article? Because I'm waiting for my other guest to hop on. Once my other guest gets here, we will get started. I have two guests here. I got Chad. Chad is somebody that I met in DC. Everybody knows who DC is. DC comes on the show and we talk about life as a Black conservative, and we also talk about the hard topics that nobody wants to talk about. So they'll be on here. Let me get this pulled up real quick. Listen, I'm not even kidding you. 1.4 million in an all-white neighborhood. Huh? I thought we wanted to segregate. I thought we couldn't live next to white folks because they don't like us. I'm confused on a lot. It's crazy. The same ones that push this perpetual victim crap are the same ones benefiting off of us. How do you complain about a white person benefiting off of the Black, the Black community collective? They all benefit off of us. We're all still slaves. But you're doing the same thing. Wouldn't that be the house Negro concept that you all throw at me? Wouldn't that be the coon concept that you all throw at me? DC, D'Antonio, Corey, Candace Owens, B. Tatum, Angela Stanton King, or King Stanton. Come on. Listen, I think Black conservatives are like, I told you. We told you. I don't know how much more we can say or do at this point. It's up to each of us as individuals to pick a side and stick with it. Don't say you're for Black progression and you are for empowering Blacks when you're benefiting off of us. Like I say, stop using my skin color. Stop using the Black plight to push forth pieces of legislation and never giving me what I actually need. Like the Democrat Party needs to atone for what they did, because what they did was absolutely disgusting. Before the 60s, Black people were forced in America. They were set to outpace white people. You introduce the welfare state, you get LBJ, you get the New Deal. It's all gone. It's a constant cycle where they spread the money around amongst themselves and then feed us nonsense. And we keep taking it in. Whose money bought that home? Well, they got over 100 mil. Over $100 million. So I'm going to say it came from that. Because, the inner cities are still crappy. There's an ulterior motive. Move there to stir shit. Maybe not. But we'll see. The point is, don't talk about how Black people can't move to certain neighborhoods and they can't do this when you just moved to an all-white area. Now, whether she's there to stir up shit or not, that is very contradictory. I can't even think of the word right now. You're contradicting yourself from what you get on TV and what you push on your, BLM organization. That's all I'm saying. But my two guests are here. So I'm going to bring them on and we'll get into our commentary for the night. Okay. Welcome, guys. I'm glad that you're here. So for you, Chad, when you're not talking, I'm gonna put your phone on mute so that we don't catch all the background. So when you want to talk or you want to respond to something, give me a signal, and that way I can unmute you and we can hear everything you gotta say.
Uh, yeah, I'm good now. I just had to park. So now
Oh, okay.
you got my undivided attention now.
Okay. Well, DC, he should be here in a second, but I noticed you in his comment section, and I like to take those opportunities to extend an invite because a lot of people have the Black conservative completely wrong, and we don't get a fair representation of who we are.
Exactly. So
What's up, man?
did you want to get into it right now, or do you want me to like wait till he come, or like?
Well, he's here. Let me unmute him. Well, he muted himself. Hold on.
Okay.
My bad.
What's up, bro? Let's get
What's
into it.
good, Ted?
Cooling, cooling.
Squad.
Yes,
Couple
sir.
grand. What's good?
Well, I'm gonna be here to more so facilitate because this conversation was between you two. At some points, I will add my 2 cents, but I'm gonna let DC. And I like that shirt that you're wearing. We're rocking the same shirt right now. Go get your PTP merch. All right. I'm gonna
Thank
let
you.
you. I'm gonna give the reins to you, so you can start it out and lead the conversation.
Get a range to me.
All yours. You're controlling the show.
Okay. So do you happen to have the posts? I don't have Facebook right now.
Let me
Just to
go through
remind.
and see if I can find it.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too far back because I got banned right after that. Just so they can get an idea of what we was talking about, what the discussion was around.
Okay, let me pull it up. It's George Floyd, right?
Yeah.
Was it a photo?
Uh, no, it was just a post,
Nah,
just
we
a
can. I know
script.
exactly what he
Pic.
said. We can get
Okay,
into it.
tell
You
me
ain't
what he
gotta listen to the
said.
post.
Just for the viewers because there's
Okay,
viewers watching, so
gotcha.
so every people won't be lost. Tell me what it said so I can pull it up.
Oh, it was just like it started off. I'm a black man, but basically George Floyd does not
Okay, I got it right here.
represent me. Basically,
Here we go. All right, go ahead.
yeah.
Let me get this pulled up.
So the reason I said that I made that statement was because I feel like growing up in the black community, all we hear constantly is well, all black people aren't criminals, and that's true. Even though there's a high crime rate in the black community, it's true. To say that all black people are not criminals, and that's something that we use as a defense of our community all the time. But my problem is we let these woke white liberals in the media come and paint black criminals as a representation of us. And I think it does a disservice to the community at large in so many ways. And we can go down to many different ways to to make these people representation of the everyday black man who is just going to work, trying to feed his family, uh, not doing nothing wrong, keeping his nose clean. And we're gonna talk about policing in general. We'll get there, but yeah, that's basically how I started off and just how I felt and my sentiments behind the post.
Okay, Chad, go ahead and respond.
Oh no, so pretty much what like how I took out of it, it was just kind of like it was kind of like how I looked at it was like a shot towards black people. Like you understand, like I don't know, bro. Like we just not nothing. So pretty much, I want to get into it with the George Floyd thing. Was like I'm talking about status of now. Like let's talk about the previous situation in the Minnesota. You understand what I'm saying? Like so pretty much what I was saying was like when you talk about George Floyd, like George Floyd was in Minnesota, you know what I'm saying, trying to better himself. You understand what I'm saying? He was there for an opportunity. So when I look at someone who's trying to do better for themselves, but then it's just like, oh, we just like go backwards and look into their background, like, oh, I don't want to be like him. He's a criminal. He's a thug. Like, like that's irrelevant to the point of, what I'm saying,
That's
what was going on. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it was about that situation going forward. And as far as the media go, it's just like, my thing is just the media might paint a certain way that that black people might be like this, whatever the case might be, but at the end of the day, if you're going to give constructive criticism, do it as a whole. Don't just narrow your focus on just, hey, George Floyd was a criminal and etc. But we don't give all around constructive criticism towards the whole situation. That's what I was looking at. It was just like how I looked at the post was when you said like George Floyd situation, like George Floyd was a criminal, but pretty much the death was just unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay,
see,
if
see,
you're gonna
that's
give
why I
that type
want
of
to post
constructive
up.
criticism, go all around, go to the everything that's happened in the situation. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I had looked at it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't pinpoint his flaws, but kind of just ease out the whole situation, what happened in general. So that's what I was talking about.
Yeah. See, a few things there is like you said, you took it as a shot at black people, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, I can't, we can't criticize people in black people think that people in general, no matter who it is, can't criticize individual blacks or just black people as a whole without it being some type of shot or anything. Like there's criticisms, that black people have of white people or every race. You know what I'm saying? So just because it's a criticism of George Floyd doesn't mean it's a criticism of black people as a whole. And I wasn't saying that because George Floyd was a criminal or anything, he deserved it, or I wasn't saying it to bringing it up to demean his past at all. You know what I'm saying? And I understand he may be he was in Minnesota, trying to do better, after his stint and everything. But my point is, when you do criminal activity, there's a chance that you have encounters with the police. You know what I'm saying? That's just common sense. And any encounter with the
Absolutely.
police, they're
Absolutely.
huh?
I don't want to cut you off. I want to let you finish, but I absolutely agree. You understand what I'm saying? I would never like give an excuse for your skin color to say, like, for example, right? Let's just go directly into the situation, right? If I say, for example, like, if I'm a store owner, right, and I see George Floyd stealing out my store, you don't get a pass. Like, bro, I'm gonna call the police on you too. You understand what I'm saying? You're stealing. You understand what I'm saying? But just because I will go and call the police because you did an illegal activity does not mean that I will want you to get treated unfairly, get thrown on the ground, get killed or whatever, and then when a situation like occurs and it blows up, people come with harsh things to say like, oh, he was gonna die that day anyway. You understand what I'm saying? He was on
What I
drugs.
said
Like,
wasn't harsh
yeah,
though. Just because it's a criticism doesn't mean that I was just demeaning this man's character. It was just a fact. It's just stating a fact. Like, just because, the man died in the way that he did, the unfortunate way that he did, doesn't mean we have to sanctify this man and this man is beyond reproach. We can analyze the situation as a whole and apply it to the black community if we truly want to move the community forward. And there's a problem with criminality in the community, and that's just something that has to be stated. And if we want to improve the lives of black people, everyday black people, I'm talking about grandma and them, people who not doing nothing, just trying to make it, just trying to live their lives. If we really want to improve the lives of these people, we need to deal with that, and we need to acknowledge that it's a problem, and we can't just dump it all on the police. We have to take accountability for some of the things that are in our control.
okay,
And
but they have to take accountability too, because just because you're in the position that you're in, your law enforcement does not give you the right to use excessive force
exactly,
in certain situations. You understand what I'm saying? You
I
cannot
agree
sit up here and tell
100%.
me if that is anyone else of any other ethnic a group that you're gonna do that to a lady, push her on the ground, you're just gonna just keep your knee on their neck and have no type of no conscious state of mind. Now, like, you understand what I'm saying?
And
Now,
that's
I
the thing
say
about
you should
that's
go to jail. Everybody should
that
hold accountability. George Floyd should be in jail. I would, if I'm a store clerk, if I'm anybody else, I would want you to be in jail. I'm not finna give nobody a pass. It
yeah.
is about accountability. But all I was saying was go around to both parties. Don't just go straight George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, but you don't want to talk about the police. If you was gonna post that, post both parties. That's all I was trying to get to.
Yeah, and
I
I
would
do
not
it.
in
I
no
do
shape
it.
form say George
I
Floyd
do
was
it.
in the
I
right.
do it all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like I
No,
don't
in
post
that
these.
post you should have had did
No,
that. You know
I
what I'm
mean
saying?
you
I'm
could
just
tell me
saying.
what I should have did, but you know what I'm saying, that's not I don't go by, the rules of what I should have and could have did. The fact is, when I make these posts, I want to make them as concise as possible to get my point across. And the point of the post wasn't to criticize George Floyd at all. I just simply made a statement of fact. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't to criticize him. It was a criticism of the media and how they portray black people, how they choose our representation. I wasn't. There's nothing in that post that demeans George Floyd or who he
How do
was
way
or
because
who
you
he was
said
trying to
I
be.
don't want to be like him.
Hold on.
I'm not a representation of George
Hold
Floyd.
I
on.
didn't
Hold
say
on.
I
That
didn't
kind
say
Hold
of
on.
that I
is
don't
in a
want to
way.
be like him. I mean,
Can you hear me?
I didn't say I don't want to be like him. See, that's why the post
Let,
is up there for everybody to see exactly what I said. I never said
here's
I didn't want to be like him. I said he's not a representation of me just because we have the same skin color. Like that doesn't. I don't have to allow somebody to be a representation of me or my entire community when I know there's much better representation in my community. Like why do we allow these people to take what I'm saying, not saying he's just some terrible guy, but he's not the best that the black community has to offer. So why are we letting these people portray his experience, his American experience as my American experience when I'm damn happy with mine because I work for mine. I put my head down and I made
Look
better
at this thing.
decisions and I try to
Look at
make
this
better
thing.
decisions.
This is
And
what I
so
was trying.
my
Okay, you
criticism is
got it.
of the media, is not of George Floyd. Is them choosing our representation and us just laying down and allowing it to happen.
okay. I'm listening to you, Chad, and reading your post. You said you are George Floyd and you are Breonna Taylor. It's not just skin color. You rooted too. Um, I'm a black woman,
Oh well. Okay, you got it.
and I'm a black woman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't involve myself with drug dealers. I don't put myself in situations as Breonna Taylor. Like it seems like as soon as we start talking about how somebody ended up where they ended up, we don't want to talk about that because no, it didn't happen because she put herself in certain situations for the police to even be at her house. Just like if it was you.
No,
I would
well,
say the same thing about you. What I'm saying is they do not represent you. You are not George Floyd because you're not doing the things that George Floyd did. Just because he's black does not mean that we all relate to that. I feel like he was treated unjustly. But I
Yeah.
also know that contributing factors also go along with what happened to him that day. It was not simply because he was black. To say that is pure ignorance. When
well,
you
with
have the
that,
facts of the case, of both cases, why can't we talk about how they ended up where they ended up?
well, I would say this. It's not pure ignorance because, like I said, I grew up in the neighborhood. You understand what I'm saying? Me and DC grew up in the same neighborhood as George Floyd, and I'll say this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have been in situations to where you have been untargeted fairly. So I would say, for example, right, this is like the biggest experience I had, right, with the police. Me and my friends were just walking, right? We were 17, 18 years old. Like, we're
Mm-hmm.
walking past a high school and there was a break-in, right? So we're just so happen to be right next to the high school. And the police come, they come with AK, shotguns, they put us face down on the ground. It's helicopters on top of us. So we asking like, what's going on? They were like, well, we heard about a break-in inside of a high school, and it was a group of kids that they said it was a group of kids. So you just see 4 black kids walking. No, we just so happen to be said you just gonna just jump on us. You understand what I'm saying? Like, in other
See,
words, if we were white or we was in a white community, do you think that police be happen will happen the same way? No, it will not.
Yep.
You just don't get
if they
on
said it was a
target.
group of
You just don't
Yes, they
get
would.
target. It does happen. It
if
is a
they said it was a
50-50
group
chance.
of Caucasian kids doing it, doing something, yes, there would be police. But the thing about it, like I had a similar, I mean, it wasn't that extreme, but I've been targeted too by the police, growing up where we grew up. I was walking down the street with, my boys or whatever, and there was a fight at the school right outside at the Burger King, and we just happened to be walking by to the bus stop, and then all of a sudden the officer just came up to us. He had his little posse or whatever, and it was a black officer, and dude just started talking, trash to me, Pig, and Kesey. And all of a sudden, well, he started talking to Pig, trash to Pig first. And then I was just like, sir, we're just trying to get to the bus stop. Why are you harassing us? And he literally snatched me by my collar and lifted me up off my feet. I don't know why this man did that, but I was targeted unfairly. But the key thing to both our stories is that in mine, there was a fight right there. And in your situation, there was a break-in. So that's the contributing factor to the harsh policing that we experience and some of the experiences we have. Not your skin color, it's the criminality in the neighborhoods that's causing it. That's the root cause, and that's what we need to get at. And that's my whole point.
The deeper thing is, to me, it's like it just shows spirit of what type of person that you are. So when I posted, I wanted to clarify that it was not a target towards white people. Now, because it was more white people that was attacking me, and I didn't go. It was just too many people to go back and forth with. But I wanted to clear that up. You understand what I'm saying? I am not in no shape, form, like targeting, making this like a white thing or a black thing. I was just saying that at the end of the day, that you understand what I'm saying, that you cannot speak. You when you say like I think you were saying something like we, I don't know, like you say you speak as like in general, like as a whole. I forgot what you said exactly. I don't want to quote you wrong, so I'm gonna leave that part alone. But what I'm trying to get to is back to the George Floyd thing. That I do feel like I'm a representation of George Floyd, because at the end of the day, we both was. I look at the similarities at both our situations, right? For him trying to go better himself, for the trucking job he was trying to do, just like I'm doing the same thing he doing. Just like how drugs caught up with him at the end of the day, I used to have a bad habit of like smoking weed. Like, we understand what I'm saying? So to still fight that is, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a mental thing. So at the end of the day, I don't look at him like, if I say a representation, I'm not going to shame my people for their flaws, when I feel like when you got the media that could, like, they'll cover up theirs. Like, you understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest. I'm just gonna say white people. Like, white people, they'll cover up theirs while they'll condemn us for ours. That's how I look at it
No,
when it comes to media.
So
I'm
what
that's
just
if
gonna be honest.
that's not
what
true. That's not true. That's a
it's not true though.
mischaracterization, and that's
No, that's
paranoia.
facts. Look at
That's
the
It's
that's
not
Deshaun Watson
facts.
situation, right? Deshaun
that's
Watson, it's on every media outlet, right? About him having the 21 people with the sexual assault cases, right? Now you
mhm.
got the offensive lineman in the NFL, right, who had the same assault case with his girlfriend. He had a black girlfriend, beat her nearly to death. No media
But
outlet, nobody picks it up. Why
Deshaun
is that?
Watson is
You
a
understand what I'm
household
saying?
name.
Huh?
Deshaun Watson is a household name. Now, I do agree that other case didn't get enough attention, but you can't deny the fact that Deshaun Watson is a household name. If Tom Brady would have done something
No,
like that, or
no.
Aaron Rodgers would have done something
The
like that, it
media,
would have
that's the
been
point about it.
everywhere. Just like when
The
Ben
media has the
Roethlisberger
power to make it
did
a
it.
household name. If you never heard this person before, once it come on Fox, once it come on Shade Room, I'm talking about all the media outlets you think of. Once they keep running that name by, oh, your household name now, because that's what they gonna know you by. Anybody who
No,
never known
but
R. Kelly
but
gonna know you
Deshaun
now
Watson
because
is
you're
a
a
bigger
pedophile.
star though. But
Hmm?
Deshaun Watson is a bigger star. His star is much bigger than no matter what the media runs. His star is bigger. And the
No,
thing about it,
man.
the same thing happened to Ben Roethlisberger, and that was everywhere. That was the biggest story of the year. You know what I'm saying? And if he get through this, I'm sure. it's gonna go away just like it did with Ben Roethlisberger. It's still gonna hang over his head, of course, just like it does Ben Roethlisberger. But skin color has nothing to do with it. Like that's paranoia right there. You paranoid of a situation.
No, that's just fact. Everything I say, I speak database, like it's in the database, or I speak to statistics. When I talk about facts, like anything I speak is going to be facts. Like it's anything I can speak, you can go back up and research. You understand what I'm saying? Like if I talk about like you say, I think you had said something like how like we are all looked upon as like equals. I think you said something like that in your post, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I was trying to get into. Do you think that like they're like in the average American eyes across the country, everybody is looked at like we're all on the same level?
No, that's not true. I don't think we are.
I have to go look back at it again. It's been a while. I think you said something in that nature
I,
that was
I,
something
don't- I mean,
to.
I think classism is definitely a thing, and in that sense, we're definitely not looked at, as equal on the equal playing field. But when it
Can
comes
I
to
ask you?
race, the thing about it, the American culture, you cannot tell me anything different. You might listen to what the go by what you see in news articles and on Facebook and in the media, but if you go by the tenets of your life and your life experience, people judge you by the content of your character, not your skin color. Like people judge you by how hard you work. Like
Okay,
everybody does.
that
People
right.
people do have
This is what I'm about to get to.
preconceptions. But look,
Hold on.
people do have preconceptions about certain people. Everybody does. It doesn't matter who you are, but people are gonna give you that opportunity to prove them right or prove them wrong. People are gonna judge you. People want to judge you by the content of your character, and it's up to us as a community to ensure that we're avoiding those stereotypes that are out there.
See
And
right
it's
here.
just
So
something that we have
This
to
is where I
overcome.
get
That
you.
doesn't make America necessarily evil. We do have things that we have to overcome, but it's up to us. It's nobody to place the blame on.
So in other words, like right, I was doing some research on. I can go all day, but this was the main thing that stuck out with me. Right, I want to make this real brief. And I don't want to talk for long, so excuse me. But when I was looking at like right, we talk about black homeowners, right? And I did, and I looked it up, and they said that long story short, that in the United States, it's a United States Census Bureau for mortgage application loans or something like that, that 80% of black people get denied in 2020, right? So you got to ask yourself, you can be cordial with me, right? If I run across like the average white person, you can be cordial with me. We can be cool. We can get along. But when it really comes down to it, right, and it comes to you living in my community, staying next to me, we sharing the same grocery stores, schools. Your kids going to the same school as ours. Then when it comes to that, we don't want to have nothing to do with you. Now this is a database. I just looked this up. Like it said,
So what
80%.
what was the statistic again?
It said 80% of African Americans was denied mortgage homes, the mortgage
and
loan in
and
2020.
why was that?
Yeah, you would have to convince me that there's no possible conceivable other explanation
So
than
you're telling
skin
me that
color.
all black people that apply for these mortgage loans are just poor? Or
Let,
your
let me
I
let
know.
me let me
see,
let me
this
let
is
me
what I
ask you a
mean when
question.
I said they.
Let,
See,
let me let me ask you a
people
question
had it
though.
misconstrued that when I said they, that's when the post went hell.
But let me ask you a question. Is there any possible other reason that can contribute to that than skin color?
DC 80%. Just think about that. So you telling me
Answer
out of eighty
answer the
percent,
question.
all the
An-
that means that
There there
like right now, right? Let's just say like I'll approve your loan. That's like saying, you know what, you can have the income, you know, you might have debt, but oh, you know what, you had this misdemeanor in 2009 or something like that. We gonna deny you. But if
That
it
is
was
not
anybody
how it
else in that
works, bro.
ethnic
Hold on,
group,
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. I
we'll give it a pass.
Can you hear me? I've been
Yeah.
quiet. I've been
Mhm.
quiet. I've been quiet, Lord. Uh that is not how loans work. Number one. They don't pull your criminal history. That's not how it works. I've applied for loans with banks, credit cards, home loans. That is not how it works.
No, I never said criminal history. I'm just saying they nitpick on the smallest things.
No, they nitpick if you don't have the credit score. And that's one thing that Black folks do not have in check. Most people don't even know their credit score.
I don't believe it's just at that higher percentage that
you don't have to though. The facts are
we do not take care of our.
The facts are that we are in debt. We're not fiscally responsible. Those are the facts. And that contributes to your credit score. I know people that start out with crap credit because somebody didn't got a bill in their name. I'm one of those kids. So that what you're spinning right now is straight like victimhood mentality speech because it's not true.
It's statistic. That's what I'm
it's
saying.
Not true though. I'm here.
You can go look it up right now.
Then why am I
that we can do ourselves? There are things we can do ourselves to improve that though. Did you know that Asians get approved for loans at a higher rate than white people? Like, does that mean the banks are discriminating against white people versus Asians? Like, it's all in perspective and in context. We got to look at the broader context. That goes back to my point. There are things we need to improve on that we talk about all the time. We always talk about how our schools don't teach us about economics and teach us about credit, things that we really need in life. We talk about it all the time. So why do we acknowledge it? But then when we look at these statistics, we want to claim victimhood when we acknowledge that there's a problem. The same thing with criminality. We acknowledge these problems all the time, but we don't want to put in the work to correct them. We just want to sit and complain about it all the time.
No,
that's why I have a problem.
Disagree. I mean, because I believe a database says one thing. I'm not going to be so in denial, believe that, you know what, we as an ethnic group, we just not doing good or whatever like that. Like, we're just so poor. We're just so effed up. We don't know how to take care of our finances to well.
And that's how they want to. That's how they want to portray us.
We can agree to disagree. I will always go by a statistic what database says. That's just like if you have.
That statistic, Chad, that statistic doesn't tell you.
Anytime Black people pulled over, police officers act more aggressive towards Black people than any other ethnic group.
Lie, bro.
So we are
I've been pulled over.
That just catch an attitude when police pull us over.
Look at look at how you're interacting with us now. Like this is just
I'm just
a
trying
simple.
To get my point across. My bad. You go ahead. My bad. I'm not trying to. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get a point across. I'm not trying to be.
No, but you are though. I'm pointing something out.
All right, go ahead. My bad.
You're getting worked up. We can tell. I do this for a living.
No, I'm trying to get a point across. I'm not trying to get worked up or nothing, but I'm just trying to get a point across. But you can go ahead. My bad.
That's fine. I don't understand. Okay, this is a Black woman on the screen. And this Black woman was able to go buy a $1.4 million home, which means she applied for a loan. And she got that loan. This is what I was talking about earlier. You're spitting the same stuff that Al Sharpton puts out, Jesse Jackson, Louis Farrakhan, BLM. They tell you all that you can't do it. It's too hard for you. Black folks got to work 2 times harder, 3 times to do this. We get targeted by police. And this lady is sitting in a $1.4 million home. You don't express any anger towards that, but you feel something about George Floyd. Do you understand the comparison I'm making right now? Look at the Black community and look at this lady. How is she where she is and the Black community is where it is? She's Black.
And the thing about it, like Jesse Jackson and them, that not only do they
like, I never argue about that though. Like,
no, not only do they do that, but they spit these random statistics out. Like, of course, if you spit a statistic out, of course it's true, but that doesn't mean it's supporting the claim that you're making. Yes, the 80% of a statistic may be true. That might be a fact, but that doesn't support the claim that it's because we're Black and no other reason. Like, and that's the falsehood. They give you these facts and they don't give you the context behind them, because there's life is nuance, and they don't want you to know that. They want you to think everything boils down to skin color when life is so complex. The economy is complex. Cultures and communities are so complex and nuanced and different from each other, and they don't want you to look at that. They want you to boil everything down to skin color. And when you look at the complexities of these situations, like the statistics you just named, there's a plethora of reasons why that statistic is what it is. It's not just all about skin color, and that's the point we're trying to get across to y'all.
Does this not bother you? Like, there's someone benefiting off of Black victimization. How is it possible for her to have this home if 80% of us can't even get loans? How is she doing it?
How did I do it?
Oh no, I was saying, because last time I said, you said I was getting too over things, so I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying, level off with the flow of the conversation. So, but I understand. What can I talk about?
Yeah, go ahead. I want you. That was a question that I was asking
Okay,
you.
so
Like, how is that possible?
once again, I don't have a statistic, and I understand what you're saying, that it's something behind it, the reason why. What all I was saying was that it is a reason why, but I just don't believe that the margin should be so high. You
It
understand
shouldn't
what
be.
I'm saying? That's the
I
only thing that
agree.
I'm saying, is like something in the water is not just right about it. You understand what I'm saying? I feel like some people are get targeted, get treated unfairly. Now I do believe some people, no, you just don't got your stuff together, bro. You understand what I'm saying? Like, for example, like my mother tried to get a mortgage loan. Like, I'm not trying to put a business out here, but I have to. But my mother only makes like a bare minimum of like below $23,000 to $25,000. I'll continue to tell her nobody's not gonna accept you. That's you understand what I'm saying? That's not gonna work. You understand? So, I kind of grew up poor. So, but she really believes, like, anyway. But that's the perfect example. She never tried to get her credit together. She, what I'm saying, she never tried to elevate status of life to where she can, do get in a better position to get approved for a loan. So people like that, I understand. But I just feel like that majority of everything that come, like that 80, like that's just too high for something to just say like there's something not sitting right with it. You know what I mean? That's all I was
It's
trying to
too
say.
high. It's too high. You're right. And that's why we need to focus our energy in the right place. Focusing the energy and blaming white people or blaming America or blaming the system, it's a waste of energy. It's inefficient. We're going to be stuck in the same position for the next 50 years, still complaining, if we don't focus our energy in the right place, which is educating ourselves and improving our knowledge and improving our culture. First of all, that comes with improving our culture. It's not. There's nothing wrong with saying and acknowledging the flaws in our culture. That's the only way to move ahead in anything. Um, I read. I remember this Kobe Bryant quote, and he was talking about how somebody had asked him how did he get to where he was. He said every year he would choose one weakness in his game, and he would work on it extensively during the off season. You notice he didn't work on the things that he was strong at to improve. He worked at his weaknesses, and he achieved greatness. And so many other cultures and people have achieved greatnesses throughout world history who have come from similar situations of persecution and oppression, just like us. And it's through culture. That's what cultivates prosperity and success. And that's what we need to understand, that if we could work on ourselves, improve our culture, acknowledge the flaws, then we won't be stuck complaining about the same stuff for another 50 years. Because it's already been 90 some years since the civil rights movement, and we're still complaining. We don't want it to be another 90 years. And that's the point.
Oh,
Hello?
yeah. So I don't know. You got it. Uh, it's not nothing wrong that you were saying, but it was just that, like I was saying, like what I was just trying to get to was like, it's all about, in each situation, it's just about the equality in it. You understand what I'm saying? Like okay, so if you get approved for a $1.1 million home, it's obvious that your career, what you're doing, you're well above means of doing okay. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm talking about let's go down to like medians between the people who make between maybe average income of $40,000 to $50,000. You understand what I'm saying? Or you understand what I'm saying? Who borderline can
Can
get
they
it.
afford it?
You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Can they
But
afford it though?
there are white people in the same situation making $40,000, $50,000, getting the we act like we just pretend like there's no other poor races in America. Like there are poor people. Like there
exactly.
it's always been throughout society, and we should do the best we can to improve the lot of poor people. But then we're gonna start getting off into political philosophies and things that black people vote for, every year, all the time. And again, that's a product of culture.
I just feel like it come down to the people, the position, like that's in the position of power, right? So it's just like, if what if that person that's in position of power who has the power to say, you know what, yes I can do this, and no I'm not going to approve your loan, or yes I can do this, or that police officer that says, hey, you know, I'm going to use excessive force towards you. Like it comes down to people like that. You understand what I'm saying? So I wanted to make it clear, like when I was talking about, like, cause I think like on the post, I don't know if I want to get back to that. They got caught on there. They comment and they just thought I meant white people. They is to me the position, the people who's in position of power. You understand what I'm saying? Like the average person who works the Walmart, and or the average, let's just say if you white, you work Walmart, you work like a cashier 9 to 5, but you racist. Nobody cares. You understand what I'm saying? I wouldn't care. But let's just say like right now, if I'm on the road and like that state trooper that's watching me pass by, he a racist. Like that state trooper can pull me over and do this, whatever the case might be. I guess the point I'm trying to get to is the people in position of power. We're not trying to play victim or nothing like that. We just want to be. It's about like equality. And at the end of the day, you can't make somebody's spirit or heart be in the place that you are talking. You understand what I'm saying? Like you look at it that way. Like you understand what I'm saying? But how does the person across the way look at it? You understand what I'm saying?
Can
So
I?
from where it means the most. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah. Can I
Yeah.
ask a question?
Okay, you go ahead.
Why do you care?
Why do I care?
Yeah. Why do you care about what somebody else is thinking when you walk down the street?
I never care about what nobody else think about it. For example,
So
no, I said the people who's in position of, so for
yeah,
example,
yeah, yeah. I
if
understand
it,
that. Why do you care?
I don't care. What you mean?
But
If what you mean? Hold on. What you mean by what I care? I want you to break that down.
you said, well, that person might be thinking this, or they're in a position of power and they might be thinking, well,
It's
maybe
not
I'll do
them
this and maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that. Why do you go
because
into
it's
a
gonna affect me.
situation thinking
If
that?
that police, let's just say, for example, that state officer, that state police, if he is what I think that he is, or if he is a racist or anything like that, yes, that's going to affect me. Because if I get pulled
That's
over here,
paranoia.
Well,
Again,
that's
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 that's what
what.
I'm yeah,
paranoia.
No,
that's what
That's
I'm
for
saying.
racial
Like,
paranoia.
for example, right? I'm gonna tell you one time. Like, okay, I'm gonna make another example, right? I'm driving. I'm driving. You know, I get pulled over. I get pulled over because he pulled me over for not having a seatbelt on. So he makes me get out the car. He searches me, and then he searches my bags. So I said, "You're doing all this for me not having the seatbelt ticket." Those are the people that I'm talking about. Those are they. You understand what I'm saying? So to sit up here and say that, like, oh, I play the victim role, it's all about, like, what I'm just trying to say is that it is black and it is white. Was in
But
certain situations when you talk
but how do
about
you know
this
that?
country as a
But
whole.
how do you know white people don't find themselves in that situation? Because I know plenty that do. Like we try to boil
Listen,
this
I don't
down
know.
that it's just that it only
You
happens
might
to
be
us, and
right.
that's the victim mentality that we're talking about. Not the fact that it happens, but the fact that we think it only happens to us, and that it's some insurmountable obstacle in the progression of our community. Like it's not. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe,
It
maybe
happens.
so.
Like
It's
there
gonna
there
come
are
down to a
predatory
statistic
people,
thing.
huh?
What's a statistic amount of times it's gonna happen to a white person versus it happened to a person of color. That's what it comes down to. And for you
Okay.
to say that,
Do,
it
do
can
you
happen
know
to
the
them, then, like,
statistic?
as many times it can happen to us, no, it's not. No, it's not.
Do
That's
you
not
do
a
you know the
picture, bro. That's
statistic?
the truth.
Do
Huh?
you know the statistic?
No, I don't have a statistic in front of me. Now that I
Oh,
don't.
okay,
That
so
I
so
don't.
you just basically going by how many occurrences you see on the media and stories you see run across your Facebook. That
No,
says
I'm
nothing
going by
about the
my life.
reality of
I'm
what
going by my
happens in
life.
the millions
I
of
go by. You know
interactions.
what I'm saying? I just can't speak for. No, you was right about that. I'll give you that credit. I can't speak for a white person. Maybe they do go through it. I never thought about that. You understand what I'm saying? I'm only gonna think about it as a black man, of course. But maybe they do have stories that what I'm saying I never heard of before. But
They're
I'm
all
just
over the
saying.
internet.
So
I saw a white old judge get beat down by a cop. Like,
Probable cause. I believe ain't nobody just gonna beat you down for no. Some have.
see, you
nah,
see what you did right there? Do you see what you did right there?
exactly.
Do you see
So
what you did right there?
exactly.
That's crazy. Now, if that person was black, it was because he was black. But
It don't
when you say
matter. It
white,
don't matter what he did.
I'm gonna look
it
into what
don't.
happened. I'm not gonna just say because they black.
But you wouldn't do that to a black person though. You would immediately jump to their defense.
It's just like George Floyd. You deserve to be in jail. I believe you should be in jail. I just don't believe you should be dead. You understand what I'm
And
saying? I'm not gonna defend what he did.
you don't believe he deserved police brutality. I think everybody can agree on that. That nobody deserves police brutality. Well, I'm not gonna say nobody, but the vast majority of people don't deserve to be brutalized by the police. But this this white judge, was brutalized by the police, and it was for a traffic stop. It was over a traffic stop. Like, these things happen all the time. Like, nobody acknowledges that. I mean, nobody denies that there's not a problem with policing, that certain elements of policing can be improved upon, and that it's a discussion to be had at the very least. But to pretend that it's a only black thing, is only a part of the black experience, that's determining our representation when it's not. It's not the vast majority of the black experience in America.
That's why I have to correct you, because data statistics shows otherwise. That's what I was trying to
Look,
tell you.
hey, you want statistic? You want statistic? This is a statistic.
If you look up at the internet right now,
listen.
It's going to show you.
Okay, this is 2021. Okay, this is a statistic right here. In 2021, how many unarmed black people were shot by cops?
21. I'm not sure.
How many were killed in 2020?
I'm not sure.
2019.
What's that?
I'm only looking at 21.
Yeah, I'm asking this for a reason.
Oh, okay.
Well, you just have to get to the point, because I'm not.
Okay, you see how you just straight up told me I don't know. You don't know the number, but you are.
I read that, but look, I read that on the news before. No lie. I read that on the news. I swear.
Okay, but you gotta listen. You gotta listen.
I won't make
you just told me I don't know. You said I don't know. It's 3.
You said
it's 3. Listen, it's 3. It's 3.
Okay.
Okay. Last year it was 9. The year before that was 12, and the year before that was 14.
Okay.
Okay, and that's for the year. Now, if I go to that same city and state and look at a statistic, I can guarantee you we are killing each other far more than a police officer has ever done anything to us.
No, you can't.
I even want to take it somewhere different than that.
Okay.
Welcome, Eric.
White unarmed killers. You're gonna go black killers. Don't go white. Don't go to say.
Why? I love the black community. This is a problem. This is the problem. You tell me.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't talk about it.
Black, but then point out white. How many white unarmed killers before 2000?
Wait a minute. See, relax, because you're getting worked up, like I said before, and that's when people stop listening. You can keep talking, but you're muted. So I hope at some point in the show you just relax, because this is just a conversation.
No, we just having a conversation.
Okay, but you keep speaking over me, so I'm gonna have to keep muting you because I'm talking.
Okay, you can go.
And I muted everybody. It's nothing personal, but we're gonna be respectful on here. That's what I pride myself on. I have conversations. The point I'm making is I don't want to talk about what's happening to white people. I want to talk about my community. I want to talk about the people that I give a shit about. The fact that you're telling me, well, don't just talk about black people. Why not? We kill each other at a far more alarming rate than white people are ever doing it. That's accountability. You believe in accountability, but you don't want to take accountability for what's actually happening. Like, what's happening is not because we're black. It's happening because we don't have fathers in our home. It's happening because of trashy school systems, fucked up democratic policies. That's what's happening. But we don't want to talk about that ever. We would rather whine about the fact that we're black, I can't do it, and have every excuse in the world. BLM proves their theory is a farce. Their entire organization. How many white people donated to BLM? $100 million. And you want to tell me that this is a racist nation and that we can't get it together? I don't think so. 4 days ago, a 2-year-old was shot in the head twice. The day before that, a mass shooting. 2-3 weeks ago, 10 people dead in Chicago. Where is the media? Where is the outrage? I'm pissed off about that. I'm calling attention to it. So this is not a setting where we're gonna talk about white people. No, we're gonna talk about our community because it's fucked up and we need to fix it.
And one more thing, Chad, to put it in perspective. Okay, the statistics she listed, we can say about on average 11 people or unarmed black people are killed by the police every year. If we put that in perspective of the total police interactions that black people have with the police every year, that's like 0.000, that's like 6 zeros, 0.18, 0.000018, something like that, percent of the police interactions. So that's a very, very minute fraction of people that find themselves in these situations to get killed by the police. And we're causing all this disruption in the American culture, all for this small percentage of people. And just because they're unarmed, that doesn't tell the full story of what happened. Yes, mistakes do happen. Predatory police are out there, irresponsible, incompetent police are out there. Like, don't get me wrong, but if we look at it in context of the big picture, like, it's a very small percentage of people that find these themselves in this situation, and I don't think it's worth putting so much energy into it. You know what I'm saying? There's other factors that we could put energy into that would mitigate that situation and many more situations that we find ourselves in. And that's what we need to talk about if we truly care about our community and want to move it forward. That I might drop for what?
I feel accountability has always been held. We just always try to find a solution or how we try to better it. So let's just say, for example, right, you talk about LA, right? You talk about the gangs and how they was at war, Bloods, Crips, whatever like that. So now when like the people who originated the organizations, like for example, Big U, you understand what I'm saying? Like, he's a well-respected person in the Los Angeles community to where once he goes across the cities in California and he talked to them and he started getting involved, now the violence decreases. He said, since I looked at his interview, he said since he's been out for like the past 5 to 8 years, the violence in Los Angeles has decreased by 81%. So
that's a lie.
So there is people who
are. Oh no, that's true. I believe it.
Yeah,
in LA, they don't even report it
towards it. So you know, it's not making an excuse for nothing. We do. It is black on black crime. We do things to harm our community, but at the same time, the same people you'll see that does the harm, they'll probably, let's just say they go to jail, right? Okay, you go to jail, come back out, they better serve the community, and they talk to the younger generation as a point, like, hey, I made these mistakes and I did this and etc. So It's there, but it's always going to continue to be young people who just going to be just ignorant and dumb. You just
It
cannot
don't have
get
to be like
around it.
that. It don't ma- it don't have to, there'll always be those
Because there
people,
always
but
going to
it
be
don't have
broken
to be
households.
such a high percentage of those people, because there's a high percentage of people committing, I mean, not a high percentage of people committing crimes, but there's a small percentage of people committing a large percent of crimes in our community. And that's what we need to mitigate. Like, I don't believe those people are beyond reach. There are ways to do it. And the ways that we do it, minimize crime in our community, we have been doing it. And since the 90s, crime has decreased in our communities. But because we letting these woke white liberals choose our representation in the media, those trends are being reversed. All the things that have been put into place to bring down the crime in our communities, they're being reversed and they're being targeted. They don't, everything is being blamed on races. So we're gonna see a relapse in our community, and a lot of black people are gonna suffer for it, all because we can't take control of the narrative in the media and choose our own representation. And that's what the post was all about.
Facts.
No, yeah, but then it was like I wouldn't want my daughter to be like Breonna Taylor. It was like
I wouldn't. I don't want my
then
daughter
I
to be
look.
like her ass either. Why would I ever
I
want
look
my daughter
inside
to
the
do that?
character of Breonna Taylor.
You don't
to
know
be
her though.
somebody.
She's a complete stranger to you. You don't know
Yeah, no,
her.
I'm looking. I'm doing my research. Like
That
at
doesn't
the
mean
end
you
of
know
the
the
day,
person.
she was
There's
a
so many
person
things
like
about
who
me on
went
the
to
internet that
school.
aren't true.
She became an ambulance. Like she did the ambulance thing or whatever. At the end of the day, she just had a drug dealer for a boyfriend. Let's just be real.
What?
You understand what I'm saying? She had a drug dealer for a boyfriend. She had no criminal history, nothing like that. She was just at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Her
You
house?
understand what I'm saying? So if
But
if my daughter dates somebody that's a drug dealer, like I'm not gonna want to say I don't want her to be like Breonna
that
Taylor.
that
I'm just gonna
that
get on
in
her ass and be
itself,
like, no, you don't need to be talking to nobody like that. You understand what I'm
that
saying? Like,
that in itself, I don't want my daughter to be like Breonna Taylor. That in itself, somebody who's gonna choose a drug dealer as a boyfriend.
but
Like
you can't
there
control
are
your
plenty
daughter's
of women.
decisions.
There are plenty of women in our communities that don't choose drug dealers as boyfriends. They choose upstanding men who want to get their education, want to succeed in their life, and want to take care of their families the right way.
So I have a
That's
question.
not going to land them in jail or land them in the grave. That's the type of woman I want my daughter to be. And there's
Okay,
plenty of women out
here's
there
the
who
thing
are
about
like
this,
that,
right?
and that's the representation
Right.
that we need to
Like, say
choose.
for example, like I don't know a hood girl where we come from did not date a drug dealer, right? So
Well,
for
that's a
example,
problem.
like
Can I say
if
something?
your daughter, like
Yeah,
you
hold on,
gotta
hold
think
on,
So
about
Eric,
we
this,
hold
need
on.
to
right?
change the culture. So we
If
need to
your
change the
if
culture
your
so they won't
daughter
be like that.
if your
That's the
daughter
whole point. We
had
don't
if
need
your
to just
daughter
accept
was
it.
to grow and they was to
We
date like a drug dealer, you
we don't
understand
need
what I'm
to
saying?
accept
I
it.
only can advise you to tell you that you don't need to be talking to nobody like this. At the end of the day, life experiences is her own teacher. She gonna have to
Oh,
eventually learn. You understand what
go
I'm
ahead.
saying? So
Yeah.
if something was to happen to in that similar situation that your daughter was to get involved in that, I wouldn't want to be on the outside looking in and say, hell no, I don't want my daughter to be like DC daughter. Nah,
Why?
you just
Why
made a poor
can't we?
decision.
Okay, go ahead, Eric.
You,
Go ahead.
First of all, hi to everybody.
Hello, welcome to
Hello.
the stream, buddy. Hello.
Thank you for having me. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound good.
So, Chad, what I want to say to you is the problem you're running into, and this is what all liberals run into, is that you don't respect Black people's ability to make choices. Now, I'm not saying you're doing that maliciously. You're doing it maybe unintentionally. You don't, but when you continue to make excuses for capable adults, human beings who are making choices, then you're doing them a disservice. And that is why our communities are in the situations they are in. You mentioned Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor herself expressed to her ex-boyfriend how upsetting his lifestyle was to her and how worried she was for him. Apparently, obviously, she didn't think it would come back to her, but she understood exactly what she was getting involved in. And with her new boyfriend, she knew what she was getting involved in. That doesn't mean she deserved to die. That doesn't mean what happened wasn't unfortunate. It doesn't mean that the police could or could not have done something different. But at the end of the day, you can't start off with a scenario and immediately skip over, like Sunni said, immediately skip over what got a person into that situation, and then blame, distribute the blame on everything else that happened after that. Now, to give you a little background on who I am a conservative. Like it seems like most people on this panel here, I am a conservative. I was born and raised in North Philly all my life, right? I'm 40 years old, and I lived in Philly all my life. I never sold drugs. I never did any of the crazy crimes and gangbanging or none of that stuff. I played basketball, right? My older brother ended up dying of a drug overdose. My younger brother ended up selling drugs, and he's currently on house arrest. My older sister, she's a college graduate, IT specialist, making over 100K a year at one point. All in the same household, all at the same time, all in the same neighborhood. Now, in that neighborhood that I grew up in North Philly, on the block that I lived on, it was a majority black block. The next block over from us, majority white block, right? If there was gunshots or arguing and that kind of mayhem in the middle of the night, which block do you think it was on, the black block or the white block?
Oh, you talking? Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Black block.
Yeah. Why do you think it was? Why?
I don't know. I don't know. I just say like black people, we just got a certain type of emotion when it comes to this. I don't know.
See, there you go.
Thank
there you
you.
go.
You
And that's
admitted
what I
it.
was going to ask you. Anytime you bring up disparities, statistical disparities, this is what I always do. When people bring up statistical disparities between blacks and whites, the first thing I ask them is, do black people and white people act the same? And they don't want to answer the question because they don't want to say no. They don't want to say yes because they know it's stupid, but they don't want to say no because it puts them in a bad spot. Look, let's just be real. We, God made us all different. Races of people through genetics, and then you have the culture component of where you grow up in and all that stuff. Now, you mentioned it's easy for liberals to point out statistic disparities when it comes to things that maybe look bad for blacks or make it look like we're being attacked or anything like that. But would you look at the NBA and say there's a majority of black people, that there's Asians or whites are underrepresented in the WNBA, in the NBA, therefore there must be some kind of oppression? You wouldn't say that. I've never heard any liberals say that, but that's a perfect case of racial disparity that everybody seems to be okay with. So either racial disparity isn't automatically wrong or evil. There's always other factors that come into play when you talk about statistics.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what I was saying.
What's happening, Noel?
So it's like before you bring up any statistic pertaining to the difference between blacks and whites, the first question you got to ask is, do blacks and whites act the same? Now, when you talked about how white people cover up their dirt and they try to not to make their own look bad, how is that even possible when every time a white cop kills a black person or shoots a black person, it's on the news and it's run by white people? How is that possible? Can you hear me?
Oh, that was a question for me.
Yeah, I was asking.
I don't be wanting to overtalk, so you know what I'm saying. This is my first time doing this. I don't be like, you know what I'm saying. Then when I do get to talking and I get in rhythm, I get cut off sometimes because it's making it seem like I'm overly emotioned. But when I'm just really trying to make a point, so you understand what I'm saying. So
Yeah, I understand it completely. To be honest, my social skills ain't the best, so I'm a little awkward myself.
But I'm not. She said I was like, it's gonna be respect. Then it's like I'm not disrespecting nobody. I was just talking about a topic, whether we agree to disagree. I was just trying to get a point across, but I was not trying to disrespect nobody. So they kind of got to me. That's why I got quiet. So if you were just trying to talk and make a point, I was just gonna let you talk, and I was just like either agree or disagree. But I don't. Like I said, I don't know how to really communicate. You understand what I'm saying? Without trying to, you know what I mean? So
yeah, so I put a lot of things out there. What do you think? I said I put a lot of things out there. What do you think? Like, how is it that if white people are going out of their way to protect other white people, how is it that every time a white cop, and there are times when the media intentionally invokes race when the case had nothing to do with race, and blaming their own, really throwing other white people under the bus. The whole idea of their, like, Breonna Taylor, like, race, there's what evidence is there to say that this is a racist thing? Almost any incident that involves a black man and a white cop, what is it other than a pattern? Which, again, if you want to talk about a pattern,
I mean, that wasn't maybe the best example, so I'll let you have that. When I said the white people maybe try to cover their dirt, but I was trying to get to the story of the two athletes who had the domestic violence issues, and not domestic violence, but who the sexual assault and then the other assault case. And I just felt like, well, if he said that it was kind of coming on Deshaun Watson being a household name, you're right, I'll give you that. You understand what I'm saying? But in both situations, I guess what we're trying to come down to is accountability. And if you're going to give so much constructive criticism to one party, I just wanted to do it to the other party as well. You understand what I'm saying? So that's all I was just trying to say.
All right,
yeah, and a lot of that has to do with the media.
I want to challenge you on that point. Have you ever studied the amount of criminal cases or criminal acts that were done by NFL players?
No.
So you're making a generalization off of comparing two people when there are hundreds of NFL players who get arrested and stuff throughout the year. Like, I looked at 2019 and 2020, and there was like 134 police incidents involving NFL players, but none of us heard of them. I don't even know who half those players are. But they weren't just like, on the front page news. It's only when it's a relevant player. Like with the lineman, the lineman who was you're talking about with the rape case. What's his name? Do you even know his name?
I just know he played for Seattle.
So there's again, you don't even know his name, but even you bringing him up, you don't know who the heck this random guy is. But we all know who Deshaun Jackson is.
So here's the thing: I'm not the only one that's saying this, though. You understand?
Well, hold on. It don't matter who else says it. The only difference. Why do you know who Deshaun Jackson is?
I get the point that you're saying.
Well, no. Why do you know who he is?
Because he's Deshaun Jackson, a quarterback.
Is he just a random quarterback?
But if it was any other player,
hold on. No.
I believe.
Is he just a random quarterback?
The powers in the media, they can make you a household name.
Is Deshaun Jackson just a random quarterback?
No.
Okay, then. So you're bringing up an example, and maybe this does happen, but this example you're using is a terrible one because even you can't even name the other player. You don't even know his position. Do you know his number? Do you know what team he plays for?
But I mean, like I said, like when the principle what I'm trying to get into is it should be headlined just like any other athlete. You understand what I'm saying?
It's not just like any other athlete. I'm gonna give you a suggestion, because this maybe can help your case. Go and look at I can't remember the website because it was a random thing I looked up a while ago. But you go up and look up like the record of NBA arrests per season, and there is actually some weird site that actually tracks that. And number one, I'm going to ask you, who do you think what race of the people do you think the majority of these arrests are?
People who are the majority of the league.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But the whole thing is like we don't hear about. It's not that there's a certain people that are hidden from us and they're white. It's that it's only when it's relevant that we actually hear about it.
And it's only when some race is involved that we or opportunity to inject race into it that we complain about it. If that situation with that offensive lineman, if he wasn't white and if she wasn't black, I guarantee you that would just be another one of those 100 and some cases that happen every year that we never heard about. But only because it's a white person and there's an opportunity to inject race into it by comparing it to Deshaun Watson. That's the only reason we really hear about it. That's the only reason they brought it up, because they're trying to even turn that into a racial incident because he's white and she's black and some kind of
he beat her to death. That's why I think separate from any other cases. That why it should be a nationally known case, because because it should be headline. Like, we should, just like the victims go and they talk, and we want to hear her story, how bad she got beat and what all this she had to go through. Like, but we don't hear none of that. You don't understand? Well, like, that's your life.
Do you know for a fact that he actually did that to her and she didn't do it to herself? Now, I'm not implying she did.
They'll never put it out for us to talk about it. They're not gonna put no.
But you're assuming the guy's guilt already.
I mean, allegedly. That's what they were. Allegedly, that's what.
But that's not how you've been talking this whole time. You've been talking like he did it.
No, I just like saying, if I know Deshaun Watson did it, did he rape the what? I just want to get in front of it so we can have a chance to hear what he got to say or he got to say. It's just the fact that they don't make it a topic at all.
Go ahead, Noah.
I got a question. Who think America is racist here right now? Who think America is racist?
Everybody's racist. America? You mean the country? You mean the country? In my personal opinion, every single person on this planet has a bit of racism in them. Anyone who's been exposed to different cultures or
wait. Enzo, it's easy question. Who think America is racist?
I do.
Okay, you think America is racist? Why? Tell me just one black people live through America. Just one. Tell me one black people live to America because America is racist. Just one. Tell me.
I didn't understand your question. You said, why would?
It's easy. You say America is
black
racist.
Person.
You say America
name
is
a black
racist.
person that's left America.
Let me know what black person lived to America because America is so racist. Who? Anybody.
I can name you one, but I agree with your point.
I'm a spirit type person. I'm not trying to be the subject. I'm a spirit type person.
Anybody live.
People who are
anybody live.
It's white people who just obvious are racist.
Anybody live.
It's racism is in America, period. You cannot deny the fact it's a little bit, or when it's little violent racist or you a major racist, it's racism. That's the point I was trying to make.
So is it only white people that are racist, Chad, in your opinion?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
All right. So look, if you take a white person who wants to talk about black people being racist, and you take a black person that wants to talk about a white person being racist, there's a news crew there, and they can only cover one story. Who are they going to put in front of the camera? The white person that's complaining about blacks being racist, or are they going to put the
why thousand black people from other country come to America for live here? That have sense because America is racist.
It can be other very reasons factor into it. It ain't gotta be because they were just, you know what I'm saying? It can be because of opportunities. It can be because of anything. It ain't gotta be because I get what you're saying, but it's much more that plays into it. I know what you're talking about though.
This easy. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, bro. I'm so sorry. This country,
because I want an opportunity to come and go to business school or Harvard or something like that, or start a business or something. That could be my reason. It's not because I was just treated so bad or whatever case might be. Every situation factor differently.
Every situation. Let me tell you something. You know what happened with you and all black Democrats? Then you got socialists. Everything that happened with you, you think is because you are black. Everything everything. You mix everything about races, and that is really, really, really wrong. That is really wrong, man. Okay, it's really wrong.
I don't really get that when even the other guy just said that everybody's a little racist, if not a big racist.
Okay.
I don't understand how that like.
I don't agree with that because it's not a racist bone in my body. Like I don't agree
Do
with
we
that.
know? I feel sorry to cut you off. I feel like people are completely confusing the word racist and what racism means.
Exactly.
Nobody walking, nobody here is a racist. You don't feel like your race is superior. Neither do you, Eric. Neither does Noel. Nobody feels like their race is better than the other. Well, we all are very prejudiced. We have our stereotypes of people. There are times if I see somebody, if you don't look right, I might lock my door. I might go to the other side of the street. Does that make me prejudiced? Sure, I will take that. But America's not suffering from racism. America's suffering from classism, packaged as racism. Are there people that think that their race is superior? Yeah. Look at Louis Farrakhan. Listen.
Nick Cannon.
Nick Cannon. They don't even like Jewish people. Why don't we label those groups? I can't even. The Nation of Islam. It's the Black KKK. Like literally.
No.
Literally.
No, I'm not trying to cut you off, but I promise you on everything I love. It's a. DC, you know Muhammad, huh?
I know a lot of Muhammad's.
In the races.
Went to school with Jamil.
Oh yeah.
So I told him, I said, bro, I rock with Muslims, bro. But I said the only reason I couldn't be a Muslim because y'all don't like white people. You know what I'm saying? Like, but so when I told him that, he told me that I was ignorant and that I got my facts wrong. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so this is what the point I was trying to make with him is what I was trying to make with the other situations that, bro, history shows that Muslims do not like white people. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you know, like for example, if you talk about the Malcolm X movie and you talk about how the lady had walked up to him at the library and she was just kind of intrigued with how the movement they got going on and she wanted to be a part of it, and she told him no. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, they'll condemn you for having a white wife. So how do you not like white people? You understand what I'm saying? To say anything else is, you know what I mean? Like, it's wrong, you know. So, but the history shows that, just like history shows in any other case, you know, that's history. You know, you can go look that up.
Well, America is not suffering from racism. Nobody will ever be able to convince me otherwise, ever, because I see too many Black successful people that are making it in life because they understand life is what you make it. Yes, we have people that come up in certain circumstances that they can't control, but that's when people like me, DC, Eric, Noel, we step in and let people know that there are other options. You are not just stuck there if you don't want to be stuck there. There's a reason they silence Black conservatives. There's a reason they don't talk about Malcolm X after his pilgrimage. There's a reason they only talk about the aggressive Black nationalist one, but he believed in working together. Nothing's ever going to get fixed if you don't look at the problem. It's not. If we don't talk about Black on Black crime, we don't talk about the fact that we represent over 40% of all HIV patients, all. We don't talk about the fatherlessness, the illiteracy rate.
40% of abortions.
We don't talk about these things.
That's genocide right there.
Until we can have conversation about those things, we are forever going to be the perpetual victim. Forever. You will never get out of this cycle that you're in until you take accountability and look at stuff for what it is. That's the only way it happens. There is no other way. Reparations ain't gonna fix it. You feeling like the power structure needs to be back in a Black person's hands ain't gonna fix it. The key to generational wealth is financial literacy.
It's not through the government. It's not through Democrats. Trust me.
Yeah.
It's possible. It's possible. I did it.
They've brainwashed us to the point to where we boast of victimhood, and they treat that as being proud.
Yep.
They have us thinking that we can't do anything on our own. And when I know growing up, I was around the most negative people, and I had the worst view of myself because I didn't like fighting. I didn't smoke. I didn't drink. I didn't like drama and that sort of stuff. I thought something was wrong with me. It wasn't until I went to college and I was around a totally different environment that I realized that it wasn't me. I was in a toxic environment in the hood. And when I think back, all the people that I grew up with who would encourage fighting, who would encourage, the guy was trying to get me to sell drugs at 12 years old, right? I would hear these people talk about racism and how everything is so bad because of racism. But they were the ones that wanted to fight the people from the other neighborhoods, and they would encourage neighbors to fight each other and tease each other and shoot down each other's dreams. I can only think of I moved out of North Philly when I was like 22, and I can honestly only think of 3 people who actually had some kind of positive message for me. I can only think of 3 people. That's sad. And what it does for me is it makes me wonder of how many inner cities are like that. It's just, when you're living in it, when you're poor, because we were dirt poor, I would share clothes with my brother, and we were single mom, the whole stereotypical story. But like when you're in the muck and the mire and you're struggling, you're already possibly battling to like really love yourself and believe that you can do better. But then when you have the older generation of people telling you the white man is going to keep you down no matter what, when you turn on the TV and a $500 million a year athlete is telling people, man, it don't matter how good you are, these white people still, I'm scared to go outside. Like, what does that do? And the crazy thing is, there are people who make it, who whether they live a regular middle class life from the beginning, or they grew up poor and they became successful. They'll go out, just like Patricia Cullors, they'll go out and they'll send their kids to white schools, they'll live in white neighborhoods, they'll work with white people, and they'll go on business trips with white people, and they'll do all this stuff. But then they go back and tell the young people in the hood, you're always going to be an N-word. You can never be successful. There's always going to be somebody holding you back. They don't believe that themselves. Just look at their actions. Every single black person that gets money, or most of them, what do they do as soon as they get money? They go live with white people. They go send their kid to white schools. Those rappers, those rappers rap about, they promote self-destruction, and then they don't even let their kids listen to the lyrics. Like, come on. We do it to ourselves to the point where, like, it's like so many people don't even care. They don't even care about integrity. It's like, well, this person makes money. This person is wealthy. He's automatically a role model. I'm automatically rooting for him. It's like, it ought not be that way.
There's nobody who didn't live in poverty. You live, and then if you go and get a mic, right, and you go and spit, like you go and say explicit things and talk about selling drugs and guns, whatever like that. No, it's not right. No, I don't want my kids listening to that. But then on top of that, I want to teach them to understand that, like, no, that's not nothing that you do. But, if that person is talented and they go off and make it, and, and you go from...
You're making excuses for them. You're making excuses for people.
I'm not making an excuse. What's
you're justifying this person selling destruction. Do you know what happens to a person when they become addicted to drugs?
First of all, these people, this the stuff that people be rapping about. This all just make believe. Ain't none of these rappers.
It's not make. What do people rap about? Look at people rap about. Like, example, you're making excuses.
Nicki Minaj or whatever, and they sell sex appeal. No, I don't want my daughter
making excuses.
At the same time, if they do what they do to make it to where they at, then
see, here you go. You're doing exactly what I said.
So it's okay for them to sell poison to their own communities and get rich off of it. That's what they're doing.
But
They're
it's just like
literally
their own
selling
identity.
poison.
Like they cross over. Everybody listen to it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So what? That does
hey,
not mean that
I
it's
grew
right that
up
that's what they're
listening. Like,
doing.
for example, I grew up listening to Young Jeezy, all them Trapper Die. Like, that's like my favorite.
Oh my
That's
god.
like my favorite rapper. I never once ever sold drugs. I sold a little weed before, but I never sold drugs like that. I never been in the streets. I never did nothing like that. I just like good music. You understand what I'm saying? But at the end of the day,
Chad,
that person use they platform, use they whatever to, to get them. Obviously, people like it because they selling records. I mean, it is
bro,
what it
Wow,
is.
man.
Hey,
That's
bro,
crazy.
bro, you're talking about people that rap about the very things that are destroying us and holding us back. Drug usage, sexual promiscuity, misogyny, and all of that stuff. Like arrogance, pride, worrying more about myself than everyone else. Like I'm going to look out for me regardless of how it affects someone else. Those are the very things that destroy our community. That kind of mindset.
but they're
Now,
not destroying. People just
I'm not saying that a person listened to it and then they walked outside like a robot, like must kill, must kill. No, but think about it. When you open a newspaper and you see 8 people shot in 8 different spots in the city, or the whole crazy Chicago thing, because it happens here in Philly too, and you wonder, why do we keep killing each other over stupid stuff? Why do we kill these? Remember back in the day, it was the whole people scuffing your sneaks. People would die over that. Like, where
Yep.
do you think that mentality comes from? And even if the rappers aren't responsible for it, because I'm not saying that they're necessarily, you got the whole art imitating life imitating art, whatever. But the whole idea is that they encourage it. Even if they didn't start it, they encourage it. It's self-destructive behavior. And the reason why we lag behind other cultures is because they don't do that, not publicly.
I think it
My
starts within your
man's is
household.
dropping
We can agree to
facts.
disagree, but I believe it starts within your household, how you raise your kids, for
Well,
their
if the
character to
people would have,
blossom and grow,
bro,
versus the influence of what somebody's saying on a rap record. You understand what I'm
no,
saying?
no,
That's just my
no,
personal
no.
No.
opinion. My
In
mom and dad
in
raised me correctly. So if somebody talking about some choppers and some guns, whatever like that, go shoot up there, I'm not finna get a chopper and gun, go shoot up nothing. You understand what I'm saying?
but a
It's
lot of
just
people do.
that's just my personal opinion.
But a lot
But
of
you
people
There's no
do.
influence of what they talking about. That's
hold on.
this rapper's brainwashing me to
Yeah,
make me
that's
just
you,
go and just
but
kill somebody. It's just I don't believe in
but
it.
Chad, the problem is a lot of young black people fall through the cracks. We're lucky. We're an exception to the rule that we're not one of the people who fell through the cracks, who didn't get the message that this behavior is not okay. They listened to that and that influenced their lives. And those are the people that we need to focus our energy on, not the police, not white people, not the American system. Those are the people we need to focus on reaching back and helping so that they won't become another George Floyd. They won't never even be 10, 100 feet within a situation of a George Floyd. And that's what we need to focus our energy on. And if we continue to let the woke white media, the woke white people in the media, and the sellout blacks in the media continue to paint this narrative, then we'll never be able to reach back and help those people. We're just going to be sitting and complaining for the rest of our lives, and for another 150 years, and that's the problem.
You said some things that stuck out to me, and I hear it often when we are asking for accountability to set in at some point. It's like, well, I didn't go do that. There's drill rap. Drill rap has taken over the hip hop industry, and they literally talk about the murders they commit for clout. 2 rappers, rich, they don't live in their hood no more, gunned down and killed because of the music that they rap about. If you're telling me music doesn't translate and influence, I'm going to tell you, you might be not accepting reality a little bit, because look at twerk culture. Now it's dying out, but strippers took over the scene and made it ratchet as hell. And now black men are like, oh, what did we do? And it's like buyer's remorse. Everybody's
I'm looking
starting
straight.
to,
I'm looking straight at your household, and I'm looking straight at your guardians. Who raised you? That's what I'm going to. I'm going to the root of the
but
problem.
everybody doesn't have that positive parent in their
And
life.
my point exactly. That's where it
So that's
starts.
why we need to speak out against these things, which is
Okay,
what we're doing.
so for the people
because
that
those
wasn't doing
parents grew
drill
up in
rap
that
and
same
they wasn't
culture.
using, they let's just say for the music, right? Take away the music scene, right? Take that all away. They somehow are going to be corrupt. They gonna go steal. They gonna go, they gonna do something because they wasn't taught right from wrong. You understand what I'm saying? That's the point I'm trying to get at. You know, now music does have its influence. I'm not gonna get it. I'm not finna have no lie to you. You understand what I'm saying? Like for example, like even today, I can't. I don't know if y'all know this rapper Zero, but I can't listen to too much Zero because he'll have you want to fucking hate everybody. Like, nah, you understand what I'm saying? Like, nah, bro, you just got personal issues. But to my point is, you know, it starts within for the reality to set up or like upon the community. You understand? So, you
Exactly.
know,
That's the point we're trying to get to you. It's not white
yeah,
folks' fault.
I
It's not
understand that.
America's fault. It's not Jim Crow's fault. It's not slavery's fault. It's things that within our community that we need to change. There's culture that needs to be at the center of the discussion. What we need to do to improve the culture of the Black community, because that's what's holding us back in the end. After we fix that, then we can start assessing, everything outside of the community and things that America needs to do better or whatever. And that's for all people, not just Black people. But until we focus and fix the issues within the community, we're not going to improve our plight. Like I keep saying, we're just going to be complaining.
No, I agree. I mean, for what the conversation has crossed over to, I agree. What we just agreed to disagree, I believe, to start off on was when we talked about the George Floyd and the Breonna Taylor situations and the accountability when it comes to that. Now, maybe it's all within circulation of the same thing. I'm not sure, but that's what I was talking about. Like, I'm still going to agree to disagree. Like, and at the end of the day, I am George Floyd because at the end of the day, he was just somebody who was just trying to better their life. He's doing the same thing that I'm doing right now. You understand? Trying to his career on a better path. So when you talk about the media being the
Are
representation
you
of,
are you
I understand
passing fake
people,
20s?
huh?
Are you passing fake 20s virtually? Pretty much stealing from convenience stores right now, because that's theft when
But
you
see,
when you
but
pass
see,
a fake 20 for
but
somebody's product. Like, are
you're
you out there stealing
contradicting
from?
yourself because you said I'm far from perfect, but then you're talking about the past. That's what I'm talking about. You
No,
understand what I'm
I'm
saying?
I'm not
Like,
talking about the past. I'm talking about what led up to his situation, the facts of what led to his encounter with the police that ultimately led to his death. And the fact that you're not out there doing what he was doing, which was passing fake 20s, high on fentanyl. You say you had a drug problem that you overcame, and that's great. You know what I'm saying? That's what we need to, that's what we should have got. We should have got that message to George Floyd. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is you're not doing the things that he did. You're not making the decisions that he made in life. So how can he be representative of you just because y'all
because
have the
I done did
same
the same
skin
thing. I
color?
done had fake 20 before, and I tried to give it away. I mean,
oh
everybody
man,
done had
come on,
counterfeits
bro.
before. Like, just be real.
So
But
Everybody has did the same thing before coming
but you're
up.
not
I done tried to
currently doing
scam
it though.
before. I just only thing it is that I haven't got I haven't got incarcerated so the judicial system can label me as a felon or a criminal. So does that make me any better than George Floyd? Absolutely not. When I know that's what I'm saying, the patterns of what we have done is similar. That's all I was just trying to say. I'm not gonna
And I'm
sit there
have
and
just
put
you?
saying
myself like
that
I'm better than
those
nobody because I'm not.
decisions and I'm just saying that those decisions have consequences. They have consequences, and it's not because he was black. It's because
You're right.
he put himself in a
You're right.
situation,
I'm telling you,
and
you're
he
right.
he he ran. He came across an incompetent, terrible police officer. And the more you put yourself in those situations, or the more people or community put themselves in that situation, the better chance there is that they're gonna run into one of those bad apples that we acknowledge does exist. There's bad apples in the police force, just like there's bad apples in every profession known to man. However, if we want to limit our chances of those encounters, we need to deal with the criminality. We need to reach people like George Floyd and make them and help them to understand that.
Okay, so when you talk about we,
have consequences.
Who are you talking about when you say we? I want to ask that question.
In what situation?
When you say we, when we need to limit ourselves in them situations, you say we, who are you talking about?
I'm talking about the Black community. I'm talking about these.
Okay, pause right there, right?
Oh.
So does it matter if you say that we all are treated equally, right? There's no racism in America. So what does it matter? You understand what I'm saying? Like, I feel like y'all kind of contradict what y'all are saying. Like, that's just how I look at it. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong.
How is that a contradiction? What was it? Make that point again, please.
I feel like you contradict your statement when you say that we don't need to put ourselves in them situations for that to happen. But you're saying Black community, like, it shouldn't matter if.
What color is George Floyd?
Equally.
What color is George Floyd?
He's Black.
Okay, so we.
Can I answer this question?
Sure.
But look.
Oh, hold on. I'll let him finish.
Go
ahead,
well,
I don't think you understand what I'm saying, but I'm trying to get it across as clear as possible. But I don't know.
I understand what you're saying. Like, the fact of the matter, people, like, it doesn't matter your skin color. People who make the decisions that George Floyd made in life will have higher chances of encountering police officers or having run-ins with the law, which increases their chance of things going wrong, like terribly wrong, just like that happened with what happened with George Floyd.
You said you're George Floyd, so can I ask you a few questions and I'm gonna let Eric go? And I just need a yes or no. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Okay, you're George Floyd. Have you ever smoked meth?
Smoked meth?
You said
no.
You said you're bettering yourself, and so is George Floyd. Have you ever smoked meth?
No.
Have you ever smoked fentanyl?
No.
Morphine?
No.
Do you currently smoke weed?
No.
Everything I just named to you was in his system at death. So you're not George Floyd. I'm trying to get you to see how you're comparing yourself to a Black person that really did not have shit going on in life. Like, let's just keep it a band. I'm going to be honest. There are Black people that have stuff going on in life, and there are Black people. You can't hear me if you're talking. That's not how a conversation works.
Okay.
I'm trying to help you right now. You're comparing yourself to a drug addict, somebody that was doing something illegal that day. And you're saying, I am him because we are Black. No, sir, you're not, because you aren't doing any of those drugs. You're not passing off counterfeit 20s. You're not George Floyd. You're Chad. Like, being Black does not make you. You're Chad. You're special because you're you. What is it about you that makes you amazing? Because it's not just being Black.
I feel like y'all want some just sell out of this. I don't really feel in y'all. I'm just gonna keep that 100. I like George Floyd.
You said I don't disrespect people, but you just called me a straight sellout.
I'm just being honest. That's just how.
You're not, though, because I'm giving you the game. I'm actually speaking life into you while you're constantly speaking death on yourself, sir. I gave you a fucking compliment by telling you that you're worth something, and you tell me I'm a sellout in return.
How is that selling out? Telling that you're better, that you're better than that you're better than
crazy
somebody.
As hell.
Like, that's incomprehensible. The fact that
I don't care.
No,
bro.
we're not looking down on him. We're acknowledging his flaws.
He was wrong for what he did, but
we're acknowledging reality.
And he wasn't shit. He wasn't trying to do shit with his life.
He wasn't. You not if you got meth and everything else in your system. That would be the same for a white person. You ain't trying to do nothing with your life. I don't care if he's Black. I care that he's a man
DMX is the perfect example of George Floyd, right? Like
DMX
he
wasn't
just
on drugs.
DMX,
He was not
DMX
currently doing
overdosed.
drugs. See, you
DMX
listen to the media. That's your
DMX
problem.
overdosed
He did
on
not
drugs.
overdose. His family came out and put out a statement.
He had a heart attack.
He had a heart attack because they're blaming the COVID shot because he was diagnosed with COVID and he also got the vaccine. You're talking
I don't
stuff
believe in
that's
that. I don't
completely
believe.
false.
I don't
Like
believe in that. I
completely
believe
false, dude.
I believe they just not trying to make it just seem as we know that DMX had a drug.
Go
history,
ahead,
a drug
Eric, because
problem.
I believe
He
you're
got
in
clean.
denial.
He'll get back drugs again. Then he'll get.
That's
it was
crazy. I can't
It's
believe I'm
crazy that
listening
you.
to this,
It's
bro.
crazy that you were saying earlier that the white people go out of their way to make us look bad, but then you're giving information that puts DMX in a better light, and you're going out of your way to say that it was a drug problem.
That's crazy.
Do you have any respect for the man or his family? You don't know. What do you know about him to say whether or not it was a heart problem or COVID or the shot or drugs? You have all these options. You can either humbly say, I don't know, or you can just believe the family, or you can just make up something, and you chose to make up something to make another black man look worse.
Turn off. You gotta you gotta turn off the video too. You can't have both going because I hear feedback.
You talking about me?
And Taylor, do you have the live going?
Yeah, I did have the live going. I had it going on my.
Okay, it's off. Go ahead, Eric. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Now,
It's
Chad, brother, what you don't realize is that what we are saying is actually even more beneficial for black people if there is racism, right? So it's like in a world where there's no racism,
Hey, Sony, just to let you know,
what we're saying is a good
you
thing.
can't be a sellout unless you make money off the death of black people. So if you're not making money off the death of black people, you can't sell out.
Excuse me?
You know. I say you can only make money. You can only be a sellout unless you make money off the death of black folks. But if you're not making money off the death of black folks, you can't sell out because you ain't making money off it. So just saying that. Just
Agreed.
All right. So what I tell I got two boys, 16 and 12. What I tell them is when you choose to commit a crime, right? This goes with all kind of decisions you make. If you on a basketball court and you decide to undercut somebody because you got mad and you injure them, if they come back and shoot you, should they have shot you? No, but you did certain actions to where you put them in a frame of mind that you don't have any control over. If you are speeding, if you commit a crime, you have no control over whether or not the cop who you interact with is going to be a racist, or he's just having a bad day, or he's just an a-hole, or whatever. You have no control over that. When you get in front of the judge, if they have to give you a public defender, you have no control over what kind of person he is. You have no control over what type of judge that is sitting over your trial. There are so many things we can't control that the very thing that you need to be doing all the more is controlling what you can. And that's especially even more important if America is as racist as you may believe, because you don't have control over those things. So when we say control the things that you can, and then somebody gets in a bad situation, and then people completely skip over the choices that person made that put them in that situation, you're doing them you're doing your own people a terrible disservice by doing it. Now, here's the thing. With George Floyd, his intent on life in the long term had nothing to do with the things that put him in that situation. All right. What mattered is that the whole fake 20 situation, and then the drugs in the system. The reason why that matters is obviously they're drugs, and they can affect your body and your mood and all of that stuff. Now, also, what his lady friend said was that he had some kind of PTSD from dealing with the cops, which may be true, maybe not. That's all the more reason to, one, not commit crimes, because you're increasing the likelihood. This is, by the way, none of this is saying he should have died, right? I'm just trying to show you how all this fits together. That's all the more reason not to commit crimes, because you're increasing the likelihood of interacting with cops, knowing you have a problem with cops, right? You have a problem with those interactions. Doing drugs and like look, it all fits together. These are all choices, so that when it came to the situation of when the cops approached him, he had made certain choices that he could control that put him in a worse position to handle that situation, right? Nobody's saying he has to be perfect, but you can't just ignore that. You can't just jump over that and say, well, he was trying to do good in his life, so none of those things matter. They do matter because they contributed to his death in one way or another. Now, just like the gentleman that was killed in Atlanta, I think his name was Rashard Brooks or something.
Yeah.
The guy who fought off the cops and then tried to tase the cop and he got shot.
Yeah, that's Rashard Brooks.
I had someone bring up that I was minding my business. This person brought it up to me, and he said, "Man, that guy." He said the night started with that guy just having a good time, and he fell asleep in his car. And next thing you know, he's dead. He completely skipped over all of the choices that man made that put him in that situation. Black people are not helpless, slow, retarded people who can't make choices. And the long-term implications of that is that, number one, you're not helping people to problem solve. But then number two, you're putting out this idea, this concept that we're mentally and emotionally inferior. So when you want to talk about how Black people are being passed up for promotions or Black people aren't getting this or that, you're actually not you, like anyone here, but just you generally, you're actually the one that's putting out negative stereotypes that will be used against us later. Like, everything ties together. We got to be really careful with these kind of things. Actions have consequences, whether we like them or not, whether they're fair or not. Actions have consequences. So the way I approach crime and just really, as much as I can, just any choice I make is like, if I make a decision, I have to be willing to deal with whatever comes after it. You know what I mean?
Facts, man.
That's just how life goes. If you are not willing to deal with the consequences of what could possibly happen, don't make that decision. And that is empowering. That is recognizing that we're equal with white people, number one, because we don't look at white people like that, or Asians, or anyone else. There's no one else that we look at and say, well, this person couldn't have made a better choice.
Mm-hmm.
So in the celebrities and the politicians, they treat us with the same kind of condescending attitude. And far too many of us actually approve of it, like they're helping us. Any person who says all of your problems is because of someone else and there's nothing you can do to fix it, you got to vote for me to fix it. You got to give me money for me to fix it. They're nothing more than those fake preachers that try to mail you a prayer call. See, I believe in Black power. I believe in Black power. So because I believe in Black power, I hold Black people accountable as people who can make choices to do better. It's like if you have a kid, I'm gonna give you a better example. A person in a wheelchair, people in wheelchairs, they want you to be mindful and respectful of their handicap, but they don't want you to treat them like they can't do nothing, right? If you treat them like they can't do nothing, they're going to get offended. Like, I am a person. I saw a dude playing basketball with one arm. He had like a elbow length nub. He had one hand. He was laying up, he was crossing over, he was stealing the ball. He was playing like a regular person. He wouldn't be able to do that if he had this mentality of, oh, I have this weakness or this disability or whatever, and I can't do anything. And the last thing I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna wrap it, I'm gonna finish with this, is I saw I don't know what he was. He was like 2 feet tall. I don't know, midget. I don't know what he was. He had no arms. He had no hands or legs. He had nubs. This dude climbed a mountain. Like, obviously he had help. He had a whole crew and there was a camera thing. But this little person with nubs for hands and feet, he did this journey and he climbed some mountain. It's like, we will be surprised at what we can do if we actually believe in ourselves and we believe in each other. I honestly believe that if we get this one thing right, we'll change. Our communities will just change overnight. And that's it. That's all I got to say.
Facts, man. You made a lot of valid points. Chad checked out. It's obvious. Everybody can see that. I left it up because I wanted to use this as an example of what happens when you're willing to talk, but when you start getting to what the real problem is, and you start asking questions that somebody can't really answer. That's why I purposely asked him about the cops. You know, I don't know. You asked him, what's the guy's name? I don't know. Well, what's his number? I don't know. Well, everybody else is saying it around me and the news is saying it. So why wouldn't it be true? It's not. It's propaganda. It's BS. And he did just leave, and that's okay. He might still be here, and I hope he's still listening. He's in his feelings a little bit, and that's okay. You could be in your feelings. I know I did my job. Well, he's back. Oh, okay, there he is. These conversations have to happen. These conversations.
No, it was a text message. I'm here. What I gotta leave. I ain't in my feelings. I've made my point. We can just agree to disagree. This whole thing, I'm gonna agree to disagree. I just think a certain kind of way. I'm not playing a victim role. It started with the George Floyd thing and him like saying that, you know, I'm not a representation or whatever like that. I said my point. He's talked his points. He had some valid points, which was some good points. I liked what he said, and that was bottom line. I mean, I'm not trying to. I don't get what you're saying. Like, I'm gonna speak my mind regardless. Like if you start,
it's because you're being defensive
over and start talking about other topics.
This all has to do with George Floyd. That's what you're not following. Everything that we've mentioned, everything that we've mentioned ties into what happened with George Floyd. It's not anybody's fault here that you can't answer those questions. If you feel like we're skipping around because you're not prepared to have this conversation because you don't know.
What am I don't know though?
Chad, you've actually brought up all kinds of stuff. You brought up the mortgage thing. You brought up the NFL players. It's like you took different things to tie them together to prove your point. And when we did the same thing, it's part of the conversation. Like, that's how logic works. The best way to challenge the line of logic is to apply it to different situations, because it can make sense in one situation, but if you apply it to something else, you can kind of see the flaws in it.
Go ahead, Taylor. You've been here for a minute.
It was certain situations that I'll give you the point, like, okay, you have a point on that. And I said it. I mean, I don't think you heard that, but I said, yeah, you're right. You got a point on that. Okay. But the point that I had is, let's just say about the mortgage loan, whatever like that, that statistic database, like I think that's like 80%. Like, nobody's not going to just like, that's impossible. Like 80% of black people are just not poor. Like, so I do feel like I have a valid point, and whatever you say is not going to change my mind. I'm open to hear it, but statistics is going to show what it shows. Like, that's the truth.
Statistics proves me right. By the way, I'm telling you, statistics. You keep bringing up statistics. Statistics proves everybody here right, except for you. I'm a very straightforward, blunt person. Like I believe in having those conversations, right? You keep bringing up statistics, bro.
You cutthroat sometimes too, now, Sonny.
You keep bringing up statistics, but the statistics fall in my favor. So go ahead, Taylor, because I don't know what happened.
Nah, I had a little connection issue. But coming from a police background, like a lot of times y'all gotta understand, it's a million Floyds out there. You gotta understand. I mean, people have a rough day, but you gotta understand the fundamentals that's always in play. And like I said, with this type of situation, the media has never been a friend of good cops. You know, they make money off of bad cops and they make money off of racism. So you gotta understand those fundamentals are always going to be in play. And if you kind of look what they created, you kind of see, you know, how that, because you got a lot of people made wealth and a lot of money because of this situation, this COVID thing. So a lot of people are not looking at the end results and they're not looking at the hidden players. Because you got to understand, if you got a society or a government that really kind of wanted the black community, you got to think about this. Imagine if we were all wealthy off a certain equity group and they got the highest consuming power. Do you really want them to be financially literacy? How you think that's going to affect your generations down the road? So when you start thinking on those type of playing fields, a lot of patterns, you can start seeing those hidden patterns that do play out. As far as you got to look at, think about, I'll bring up Tupac. Remember when Tupac, I mean, when I was small, Tupac was rapping real stuff and he was a poet. But for some reason, it was a pause. Somebody got their hands on him. They wanted him to rap gangster lyrics. Tupac didn't want to rap that. He was like, man, I want to rap the poet. But when Tupac started rapping the gangster, it was like, that's what we want you rapping. And the man got killed for it because he was like, I refuse to rap that way. And he was like, well, I got to make money off you. So if I can't make money off you, you know, just saying, I mean, God forbid, but I'm just saying those patterns and those predatory patterns keep coming. It's a reason why they promote, you know, glorifying criminal element, you know, promote genocide. You got young boys shooting, killing each other, you know, they get into the system, become another slave, you know, they get out, can't get a job, and they just, you know, so same thing with the women. So, I mean, you just got to understand, you know, those fundamentals that's been in place to keep a certain people oppressed and down. It's sad to where as if y'all didn't know this, but you got some good officers who pull people over and they don't give them a ticket. Then the people go back and tell on them, hey, why they call officer, why you ain't writing tickets? Why you didn't get the people a ticket? It's like, damn, you getting in trouble for not oppressing people. A lot of people don't even know that. I'm not saying nothing against the body cams, but without those, now that the body cams up there, a lot of times police officers can't show courtesy anymore. A lot of times, like for example, you brought up Rayshard Brooks. He possibly could have showed Rayshard Brooks because he was drunk. He was on private property. It was Wendy's parking lot. It's private property. It's not city property, but it just goes back to Georgia laws. You know, some people saying no, by Georgia law now, he got to get that DUI. I'm like, damn, we can't give him a pass. Well, guess what? That's on the city and the mayor. Y'all talk the talk. They talk the talk. Okay, then put in the policy. And a lot of people not looking at certain policy makers who allow predatory, bad police officers to get away with certain practices for so long. I'm not blaming Devin for what he did to George. He been doing that. The only problem is he just got exposed. I can't get mad at him. He a product of his environment. But if you never attack the snakehead, you'll never change the issue. And all the snakehead got to do is just play a role. Oh, we ain't got nothing. We'll just defund the police officers. They ain't gonna get politicians. They gonna get private security.
Can you speak to
black on black crime? So I mean, they winning either way it go. You defund the police officers. All you're gonna do is
he just disappeared. Hopefully he'll come back. Can you guys hear me still?
Yeah.
Damn,
I
I don't know what happened. What were you gonna say? Because I don't know where he went. He just
I wanted to kind of hear his perspective, you know, from a black police officer experience policing their own neighborhoods, because we demonize, because if you notice what the media does, they only put the cases of police interactions or that go wrong with white cops and black people. But black cops shoot, black people, I've been brutalized by a black cop. I've been mistreated by multiple black cops. So that lets you know it's not a black person versus white thing. We know, me and you, both of you know the same people. We know black cops ourselves. We know these people aren't just getting into this occupation to oppress their own community. It's to help their own community, but yet they still find themselves in the same situations as white cops where they have to shoot, people of their own community or mishandle or treat people of their own community roughly because of what they experienced. So I wanted to ask Taylor about his experience, as a black person policing his own community, as far as what he encounters and why he got into it in the first place.
Hey, I don't know if y'all can hear me. The reason why I got into it in the first place, growing up, I used to love block parties. And for some reason, it was like, well, you can't have a block party because they'll call the police. So I was like, why are they always calling the police if people are just enjoying themselves? But there was some other reasons too. But once I got into it, I learned that, wait a minute, you can have a block party. You just got to go through these proper channels, make sure neighbors, certificates, and then you good. And also, police your sale. So that means if you got Johnny or Pookie or Ray, hey, we ain't about to have that. We don't need you coming over here messing this up for everybody. So as long as everyone's on the same page and we can do that, we can also have a social gathering and we don't have to worry about any predatories coming around trying to harass people.
Damn, he keeps getting cut off. Chad left us.
Yeah, but Chad, if you're still listening, what do you think about that? The fact that black people, is not just white cops killing black people. Black cops kill black people too. That should let you know there that it's not about skin color. It's more so about the criminal elements within the communities that they're policing that's going to lead to high occurrences of, police,
I don't want to say, you know, because it's not always, you know, instance of a bad cop. The vast majority of the time is a bad person that the cop is encountering, regardless if they're armed or unarmed.
Right.
I
Can you
guess I'm
hear?
back.
So he not here, so
Yeah.
I don't know if he can
Backstage.
hear
Oh,
that question.
man. Hey,
No,
I'm
you're not
backstage, man. I know my connection. I know Sony about to get on it, but that's cool though. Everybody ain't got all the good Japan technology like.
He's not even backstage. You're live.
Oh snap! All right. Hey, but just to finish, letting you like I was saying, I mean, we just need good people, man. You just are really and truly whoever your police officers are. They need to be people that live in the community because they develop that relation. Everybody have a bad day. I used to always say, "There's no such thing as a good cop, no such thing as a bad cop. You human. You got good days or bad days, but it depends on what you got internal. Do you really care about the people that you out here protecting, or you just look at it as a job? Let's be honest. Some racist guys. We used to know from the door, if you racist, I need to know you racist because we can work with you. Because the biggest thing, we ain't trying to be internal feds, and we ain't trying to have you come out here and do something got us all jammed up. A lot of times when you get them jokers identified and just build relationships with them, and if they be honest, the day will work out smooth. Be honest. If you don't like a certain people, just say you don't like them. We can back you up, which I personally don't personally like you, but when you got that uniform on, I'm gonna protect you like you my brother or sister. We out there. It's all about making sure people come home safe and make sure you don't do nothing to hurt the public. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, that reflection and community represents everybody. But I will say this though, a lot of those city leaders, they that because a lot of times they do want them guys harassing people and getting money out.
Damn, bro. Well,
yeah, Christine just said that's how she feels about teachers. Also, that's the exact same situation with the teachers. My wife is an elementary school teacher, and you should see, you know, not casting any aspersions on her coworkers, but just in the school system, you know, from growing up in it, I see the teachers that don't care about their job versus the ones who truly, genuinely care about their students. I wouldn't be the man that I am today without this one teacher. I'm sure Chad knows this man, Mr. Wizard. Without Mr. Wizard putting a book in my hand every week and developing that hunger for reading, I would not be the man that I am today. And that's coming from a white teacher. He truly cared about me. And then I've had teachers that don't give a damn, both black and white. So it's not always a skin color thing. It's just a matter of that individual's heart.
Facts. Well, we've been on here for like almost 2 hours, actually.
I feel scared. No, I mean, I feel scared when I heard some black people say, "Oh, that happened to me because I'm black." Because when they say that, they think that their color is not right.
Yes.
And I think black is so beautiful, like white, like whatever color, you know. And I would like to see more black people like be working hard for to be more smart, and you know, and that's it. Be better, you know, because you can do it. You can do it. You have everything that you need for be better in your life. Everything.
We prove it all the time. We do it all
a lot
the
of
time.
opportunity. A lot of opportunity, bro. Hey, I from Cuba. My sister Sonia, she know that. I from Cuba, man. And black people in Cuba can't speak because they got in jail. Okay? They got in jail. They don't have opportunity. They don't have right. It's not free expression there. So just try to be free like your country. Your country is free. Try to be free like your country too. Be free. You know, it's not right that everything that happened in your life is because you are black. That's not right. That's not right. You a smart person. You are smart. Be free. Don't scare, because I know a lot of I have a friend that they support Black Lives Matter and a lot of other things, and they are my friend. I love him. He's my friend. He don't think like me. We discrepan in a lot of things, but he's my friend, 100%, and I love him. I not mix politics or how we think with our color or with our love, because I'm from Cuba, he from here. No. I love you because I love you. That's it. I don't mix anything. And look, I don't feel discrimination. I don't have the same right that you have because you are citizen. You are American citizen, and I am resident. And I don't feel discrimination. I don't feel down for that. And you have more benefits than I. But look, I love America. I don't feel discrimination for that because I'm an immigrant. I have to understand that this is not my country. I have to respect everything here. Okay, I can vote it. And look, Trump, he was my choice, and I'm support him. That's it. I try to be free. I try to be happy. I try to leave everything. Hate. No. Leave. That's it. And I'm so sorry. I can't support Democrat because they are socialists. That's it. This is their name right now. Socialist Democrat. And I'm not support socialists because socialists most racist and more slavery things that I live in my life. I live on socialist for 26 years. That's it. No more for me. No more left. Left is down for me. I'm a right. That's what I think.
Thank you, man. This was a teachable moment for conservatives, for liberals across the board. A lot of people don't want to hear this because it requires taking responsibility and like really understanding that it's not because you're black, and people get shocked. What do you mean it's not because I'm black? Well, it's not. There are bigger fish to fry than you being black. And those individuals that don't like you because you're black, who cares? They don't matter anyway. So thanks for this conversation. DC, I'm going to be texting you because we got an event that I want you to be a part of. Thank you for being on here tonight, Noel.
Thank you.
Everybody stay tuned for Make America Think Again, because I'm going to be having some very special guests. I'm going to be having Bevelyn Beatty on the 15th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be sitting down talking to her. I'm also going to be talking to King Randall. He's the young man that started this school. He's trying to turn it into a full-fledged school. So we're going to be sitting down talking about these issues, the state of culture, and hopefully we can make a change. I know Chad heard a lot of stuff here. He agreed with all of it. Let's just be real. He's just in denial a little bit. And that's because he admitted that this stuff makes him emotional, and that they purposely do it that way so that you can stay emotional and never think rational about anything that's happening. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you for being here, DC. And I'll be letting you know about the event we got coming up. Peace out, guys.